I'll be going over the planet Mercury, which of course is the fifth, the 14th, or the 23rd of any month, as well as affected by June or Gemini people, as well as September or Virgo people. So we're gonna go over it and use the number five, but we won't be using 5, 14, and 23, because then we'd have to go through three different aspects for every little for every planet: the sun, the moon, Mercury, Venus, Neptune, etc. So this would be the basic propensities of Mercury lined up with, let's say, the sun or Mars. But to fine tune it, you'd have to go. If it's the 14th, you'd have to look at it from that aspect and so forth. But there would be so many aspects that it would take a lot of pages to do this. But meanwhile, we're going to go over the Mercury aspects. Now, when you put Mercury together with the Sun, which is the one series, and again, if you did it really in big detail, you would say the Sun is 1, 10, 19, or 28th, and you'd have to have four delineations of the Sun, and seeing that Mercury is 5, 14, or 23, you'd have to match up every one of those with every one of those, and so forth, right down the line, and it will wind up to be a lot of different aspects, and there would be chart upon chart. But meanwhile, if you put the Mercury together with any of the sun planets, it forms like a Venus vibration. It forms a 6, 5 and 1 for the sun is the 6. And Venus usually makes an attractive couple that is very responsible and family oriented, basically. And if you take the 5 for Mercury and the 2 for the moon, you develop it to a Neptune type of thing. It's a relationship that the people learn a lot. But because the moon is so associated with Neptune, there would be a lot of emotions. There would be a tendency for it to work pretty well as far as that goes, because when the moon and Mercury have such an affinity with each other. I mean, the moon and Neptune, excuse me. It's 2-7. Now, if you put 5 with number 3, which is Jupiter, which is 3, 12, 21, or 30, like I said, you start getting all these aspects. You'd have to do it for each number and right down the line. It equals 8, and that's a Saturn vibration. It has to do with money and business, education, and karmic situations. A true 8 likes a little isolation too, so they like to be cloistered somewhat. If you put 5 with 4, which is Uranus, it develops into 9, which is Mars, and that affects people born on the 9th, 18th, or 27, as well as Aries or Scorpio. And the 9 creates endings in people's lives, and it's a very intelligent, but a very explosive type of number that the person, that there could be like some disagreements or family hassles or things like that, and people have to learn the lesson of letting things go. Now, when you put 5 to 5, which is Mercury to Mercury, two people with the 5, 14, or 23 as their name, it brings a 10, 1, which is the sun, and they'll both be remembered for what they do. But there's a certain amount of independence in the situation. It wouldn't be so much me, my partner, as the two of you individuals. Now, when you put 5 with 6, which is Venus, it becomes like a moon. It becomes an 11-2, which is very emotional. There's questions about privacy and space, and it's a very creative relationship. When you put 5 with 7, which is Neptune, it becomes a 12-3, which it has all the qualities of Jupiter, but sacrificing the couple's plans to the plans or problems of others, which is the 12-3 with compound numbers, which I suggest people to really get familiar with because that's the hangman. It's not as bad as it sounds, but it means that the person will sacrifice to others, and in this case, the relationship. Now, when you put 5 and 8, which is Saturn's number, is 8, it becomes 13-4. And these people would be very self oriented. They would go through a lot of changes in places and plans and locations. And they'd have to watch about having a me first attitude, or else we'd be considered abrasive to other people. Now, when you put the 5 and the 9, which is Mercury and Mars, you get the 14-5, which is a Mercury number, and it's a public number. It means that the people will be in front of the public in some way, and they'll be juggling their schedule and their activities, and a lot of their life would be happening quick and things being up in the air or unsettled at a lot of points. And sometimes travel can come into the number cycle, and particularly over water places or going to water places. But this is the basic, Mercury to Sun right through Mars type of reading. Of course, like I said, if you break down every number, like the 5 is 5, 14, 23, the 3 is 3, 12, 21, 30, and so forth. You'd have a lot of different aspects, but you need pages and pages.